Hey, welcome. Have you ever looked at investing and just thought, this is way too complicated? Well, if you have, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down an incredibly simple yet powerful strategy for investing in, well, the entire world.
Does this feel familiar? You've got some money saved up, you know you should invest it, but you're totally paralyzed, right? Should I buy Apple or Tesla? Is the US the place to be, or is some other country about to have a massive growth spurt? That fear of picking the wrong stock, the wrong country, the wrong anything, it's real. And honestly, it keeps so many people on the sidelines.
But what if there was a way to just completely sidestep that whole stressful game? Forget trying to pick the winning horse. What if, instead, you could just buy a tiny piece of every single horse in the race? A slice of every major public company in every country all across the globe.
Well, that is precisely the idea behind what a lot of people call the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it investment. It's the Vanguard Total World Stock ETF, and you'll see it under the ticker symbol VT.
Now, the big idea here is so simple, it's actually kind of brilliant. VT isn't trying to outsmart the market, it's not hunting for some hidden gem that's going to skyrocket. Nope, its goal is way simpler and maybe even more powerful. It just wants to become the market. It does that by buying a piece of pretty much everything out there, so it captures the average growth of the entire world economy.
So how in the world does it actually do that? Well, you can think of VT as having a superpower, and that superpower is really made up of three huge advantages for any investor like you or me.
Okay, advantage number one, this is the big one. True, honest-to-goodness global diversification. And I'm not just talking about owning a few famous international companies. No. We are talking about owning a piece of the whole dang planet's economy.
Just look at the scale of this thing. VT holds over 9,000 different stocks. That is insane. It covers all the big players in developed markets like the US and Europe, sure, but it also gives you a real stake in the fast-growing emerging markets, places like Taiwan, China, and India. And it doesn't just buy the giant companies. It holds large, medium, and even small companies. So wherever the next big growth story comes from, you've got a piece of it. So if you look at how that pie is sliced up today, yeah, the US makes up about 60% of the fund. That's just because right now it's the biggest economy by market value. But here is the really cool part. That number is not set in stone, and that leads us right into VT's second superpower.
Advantage number two is that this thing is basically on a dynamic autopilot. It is constantly, intelligently rebalancing itself, and you don't have to do a single thing. It makes its moves based on what's actually happening in the world, not on anyone's predictions. Okay, so here's how that autopilot works. The fund is market cap weighted. That's just a fancy term that means as a company or a country gets bigger and more valuable, its slice of the pie inside VT automatically gets bigger too. So let's say another part of the world like Asia just booms over the next 20 years. Well, VT will naturally automatically own more of it. You don't have to guess, you don't have to rebalance. The fund does all the navigating for you. And that brings us to the third advantage. And this might be the most important one for your actual long-term wealth. And that is the ridiculously low cost. Because fees, even tiny little fees, are the silent killers of your investment returns over time. Just look at this. A lot of those actively managed funds, the kind a financial advisor at a bank might sell you, can charge you 1.5% or even more every single year. VT, on the other hand, charges just a tiny fraction of that. Now, this isn't some small detail. Over decades of investing, that difference in fees can literally mean tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars more in your pocket. It's huge.
0.07%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the annual price tag for owning a piece of the entire global economy. It's practically nothing. And that incredibly low cost means way more of your money stays invested and compounding for you.
So when you put all three of these things together, right? The massive diversification, the automatic pilot, and the super low cost, you end up with a really powerful and honestly a really calming investment philosophy.
See, this whole idea just frees you from all that pressure to be some kind of stock-picking genius. You're not trying to find the next Amazon before anyone else. You're not trying to predict which country will be the next superpower. You're just accepting the average return of the entire market. And history has shown that's an incredibly effective way to build wealth over the long haul.
And what's the real payoff for all this? It's peace of mind. It just vaporizes the two biggest fears every investor has. Number one, the risk that the one company you picked goes bankrupt. And number two, the risk that the one country you bet on just stagnates for decades. This is the ultimate sleep well at night investment.
So what's the big idea here? What's the real takeaway for you?
It's that you're tying your own financial future to something way, way bigger than any single company or any single country's economy.
When you really get down to it, owning VT is just a simple, optimistic bet. It's a bet on long-term human progress and ingenuity. It's a belief that, yeah, there will be ups and downs, but over the long run, humanity as a whole will keep innovating, keep creating value, and keep growing the global economy. And as long as that happens, your wealth just grows right alongside it.
And that really leaves us with just one final question, and it has nothing to do with stock charts or economic forecasts. It's much simpler. It's just, do you believe that human civilization, as a whole, will continue to move forward? If your answer is yes, then you already understand the entire philosophy behind buying the world. Thanks for tuning in.